I will start off with Lebanon because I think you did get quite a bit on Gaza just now. Our peacekeeping colleagues in southern Lebanon report that intense exchange of fire along and beyond the blue line continued over the last 24 hours. The peacekeepers recorded about 58 air violations, the highest number for a 24-hour period since October 8th. UNIFIL also detected 1,279 projectiles across the blue line, the third highest since October 8th. 1,208 originate from the south of the blue line heading north. 71 were left from the north heading south across the blue line. The mission also reported that indirect fire and firing from close to UN positions caused material damage to UN equipments and facilities in Deir Amis in the sector west and the Shaba in sector east of the peacekeeping's area of operations. Fortunately, no peacekeepers were wounded in these incidents, but they do continue to put our peacekeepers who are serving in southern Lebanon to support implementation 1701 at serious risk. We reiterate that the safety and the security of our UN personnel and property must be ensured by all actors on the ground, and that the inviolability of the premises of the United Nations must be respected at all times by all parties. Meanwhile, the Special Coordinator for Lebanon, Janine Hennes-Plasschaert, continued her intensive engagements with all actors to urge an immediate ceasefire and that space be given for a diplomatic solution in line with Security Council Resolution 1701. Following further strikes that resulted in civilian deaths today near Nabatea, the Special Coordinator emphasized a statement that violations of international humanitarian law are utterly unacceptable. Civilians and civilian infrastructure must be protected at all times, she said. And the Secretary General yet again condemns the loss of civilian life that we have seen. Also, on the humanitarian front, our humanitarian colleagues report multiple airstrikes in Nabatea and nearby areas in southern Lebanon. So far, according to local authorities, 6 fatalities have been confirmed, including the mayor of the town, as well as members of the Disaster Risk Management Unit that were killed on the strike on the municipal building during a relief management meeting. Our health partners tell us that the violence continues to push an already overwhelmed health system to the brink, with devastating impact on medical care amid huge health needs. Since September 17th, the World Health Organization says it has verified 23 attacks on health care facilities. It also flags the impact of intense bombardment and insecurity, which are forcing a growing number of health facilities to shut down, particularly in the south of the country. Out of 207 primary health care centers and dispensaries in conflict areas, 100 are now closed. Despite these challenges, WHO and its partners continue to support Lebanese health authorities to provide medical supplies for trauma care, cholera prevention. WHO also continues to coordinate with the Lebanese Red Cross and hospitals to equip blood banks with adequate supplies, and is also working with the Department of Public Health to establish trauma centers within the existing hospitals. On education, Lebanese authorities tell us that 77% of public schools cannot provide education services due to either being used as collective shelters or because they are in areas of conflict. Meanwhile, we, along with our partners, are continuing to support the Lebanese response, including by providing food, shelter, water, sanitation, and hygiene assistance, but they warn that they are facing operational challenges due to the volatile security situation. Back here this morning, Joyce Masuya briefed the Security Council at their request on the situation in Gaza. She said in just 1 week, nearly 400 Palestinians were reportedly killed in Gaza and almost 1,500 injured. The world has seen the images of patients and displaced persons sheltering near Al-Aqsa Hospital burning alive, she said. Since the beginning of October, she told Council, we estimate that over 55,000 people have been displaced from the Jabalia area, while others remain stranded in their homes with water and food running out. Only 3 of the 10 hospitals in northern Gaza Governorate are now operational, and those are only at minimum capacity, she told council members. These facilities are facing dire shortages of the most basic items, and women are giving birth under heavy bombardment, she said. Those remarks are shared with you. From the ground, our humanitarian colleagues tell us that our partners are providing nutrition support in the Gaza Strip, and they are working to reopen a medical facility in the Gaza governorate after mass evacuation orders and escalating hostilities forced three other medical points there and in northern Gaza to just shut down. Those closures have compromised the treatment of about 2,000 acutely malnourished children in northern Gaza. Meanwhile, the distribution of nutrition assistance continues for children under the age of 5, as well as pregnant and breastfeeding women. More than 85% of children in Gaza are estimated to face severe food poverty as of last month. And since January, partners have provided nearly 586,000 one-month nutrient supplements, and 147,000 children have received high-energy biscuits. These children are reportedly consuming less than 2 types of food every day, which indicates nearly non-existent levels of dietary diversity. Our partners are warning that despite attempts to scale up nutrition support, they continue to face severe constraints, including supply chain complications, shrinking space for humanitarian operations, and ongoing displacement. Meanwhile, they warn that the reduction in access to health services due to the evacuation orders and hostilities, especially in the north, will further delay the detection and start treatment for malnourished children and compromise efforts to follow up with children already being treated. Our partners are working to support Gaza's beleaguered health system, are doing everything possible to reach people across the Gaza Strip with life-saving support. That includes administering the polio vaccine, which the second round of the vaccination campaign continued today. WHO reports that over the past 2 days, nearly 157,000 children in central Gaza have received the second dose of the vaccine. At the same time, more than 128,000 have received vitamin A supplements. We and our partners continue to call for the parties to respect the agreed upon humanitarian pauses required for the vaccination campaign to proceed safely and on schedule. Turning to Syria, our humanitarian colleagues there are warning about the impact of an uptick in hostilities in Idlib and western Aleppo. Local health authorities in Syria report that since yesterday, 2 civilians, including a 5-year-old girl, were killed in separate shelling attacks, and at least 11 people were injured. Critical infrastructure has also been impacted as the area experiences its first series of airstrikes in 3 months. Yesterday, 2 airstrikes hit a power station west of Idlib city, knocking out electricity to water stations, serving as the main source of water for nearly 30,000 people living in 17 surrounding villages. And on Monday, at least 3 airstrikes hit just a few kilometers from a tent settlement in Idlib, where a UN delegation led by David Cardin, our deputy humanitarian coordinator for the region, was overseeing a WFP distribution service to displaced families. The UN delegation, which included OCHA, WFP, and UNHCR, also visited a community center that is providing legal assistance and psychosocial support to displaced families, including those who fled from Lebanon recently. WFP is appealing for international support to address the escalating humanitarian crisis in Syria amid the influx of people fleeing the war in Lebanon. The food security situation in Syria is worsening, with more than half of the population facing food insecurity and some 3 million people in the grip of severe hunger conditions. Carl Scow, as you know, the deputy executive director from WFP, warned that people are reaching a breaking point, saying that the international community must step up.